Okay, so love,
hate,
generosity,
greed,
forgiveness.
revenge.
So in every part of our lives, there is a black and a white, a good and an evil. But the thing to remember is that it should be somewhat balanced sometimes because things like love is not loving 24 hours a day. Um, Generosity can often be taken advantage of, and forgiveness can sometimes be granted too freely.
So that's what we're going to be covering today. We're going to talk about how to find that balance in your magical life. Is dark magic really all that bad? And are there exceptions? Are there consequences? And how do we find a middle ground when doing our magic? So.
So I'm going to do the first part. Surprisingly, for those who know me, I'm doing the light. Heather knows us, so we decided to trade up for a little bit of a time. Okay. There's a term in hoodoo called lady-hearted, and that means you morally feel like you will not do bad work against someone else. Um, your morals are too high. You won't do any bad work. You won't do breakup work. Won't do any sort of evil spells. So that's known as lady-hearted. Um, in white or good magic, it's all about the power of good intentions. Now, magically speaking, all magic is about intention and how you focus that intention. Um, we don't always like to say white magic because that has a connotation of black magic, which is really more of a Hollywood term. So it's better just to say light and dark, good or evil. But when it comes to good intentions, it's about focusing on love, healing, protection, personal growth. Tap into these powers of positivity to bring about the changes that you want. And so let's talk about the changing your vibration. Um, have you ever noticed when you're around people who are very negative, you begin to feel agitated or negative yourself? It's because their vibration is bringing you down. A lot of times when I do readings for people and they keep having all these problems in their life, I ask them, who are you hanging around? And when we get to that point where they're like hanging around a bunch of negative people, it's like, well, ditch these people, blood or no blood, and then come back and tell me if you still have the same problems. Because in today's society, I'm sure you've noticed anyone on social media, people are always looking for something to be offended by. They want to voice something in a negative way hidden behind their keyboard. Um, they wouldn't say that in front of you because you'd probably slap them. That wouldn't be a very nice, light thing to do. But it's just the way our society is right now. Um, Another thing is often people think someone's always trying to wrong them. They don't look for the positive in someone else or try to walk in their shoes or figure out why someone is acting the way that they do. Why are they coming from this negative place? Um, is it something in their past? Whatever. So that's more of an empathetic thing. Um, and like I said, when you hang around negative people, you are affected by them. It brings your vibration down. So doing any sort of magic, good or bad, you have to bring your vibration up to be able to perform whatever it is you're trying to change. So before even attempting the basic elements of light magic, there's four terms that every one of us think we already know, but we're going to go over them anyway because I want you to really think about the meanings behind them, their connotation, and how to incorporate them when you do lighter magic. The first one is kindness. We're going to go through kindness, empathy, honesty, and integrity. So, what is kindness? Kindness is usually it's marked as a type of behavior that deals with consideration and generosity, You want to offer assistance to other people. You have concern for other people, but usually from a place where you don't expect a reward. You're just generous to people. You're just nice to people. Empathy. So at its simplest form of, um, at its base level, it's just being able to connect and associate with what someone else is going through. It is walking in their shoes, or being able to at least have some glimpse of what they're feeling so that you can associate what they're going through. Um, it's how we, as individuals, understand what others are experiencing if we can feel it ourselves, or at least imagine what it feels like. Honesty. Honesty considered like a facet of moral character. It's being truthful and straightforward. It's like the absence of lying, cheating, stealing, and involves being trustworthy, loyal, fair, and above all, sincere with the people around you. Integrity is sort of mixed with honesty. It's like the two go hand in hand. It's about having strong moral principles, someone who is honest, behaves ethically, but even behind closed doors, not just when they're out in public with other people. Does anyone have any questions? Concerns? So what type of magic can you do that's considered light magic? A lot of people use healing and transformation. So Reiki practitioners, chakra energy healers would be considered like a light form of magic. Some people may not call that magic; they would just call it healing. But there, a lot of people would put magic behind it. Roy does a lot of shamanic Reiki, so it's different than normal Reiki, but there's magic attached to it. And what do we do when we're talking about healing and transformation? You're supposed to address old wounds, flood them with light, flood them with goodness, trying to get over them instead of seeking revenge on the people that caused these wounds. It's releasing negative patterns and doing things for the greater good. A lot of people use goodness in divination and for guidance. Tarot cards, pendulums, all sorts of divination. Some people may consider those things dark magic or dark energy, but it's really just looking into the future to see how it can help guide you to a better path. Protection is a type of light working. Protection or warding off negativity or evil or bad spells. So Water Good Magic offers ways to put up protective shields. You can make amulets. You can make other protective objects to put around the house that keeps negativity and evil away. And we're going to make one in just a few minutes. And there's all sorts of visualization techniques you can use to bring in light before you start the work. One of my favorites is this is sort of a form of a shamanic journey before you, one I had gone to, where the first thing you do is you flood yourself with white light. Then you begin imagining going down a staircase until you end up into this beautiful place where you can do your work or meditate or whatever. But the first step in that is to imagine yourself surrounded by white light. A lot of people do protective and warding magic before casting a spell or casting a circle, because they're trying to keep away any negativity from the space in which they're doing magic. So they clear it out and make it positive. And then there's also people who work with what we'll call higher realms, people who work with angelic beings or guides. So these are all different ways that you can actually consider something white or light work. A couple things I put together was a spell for negativity and how to keep it away from you. And this is in two parts. The first part is something you put in the bath. It's not a bath. It's not the normal spiritual bath I normally talk about, which is like brewing herbs, putting them over your head, getting them off of you. This one's something very simple you can do in the shower. It's taking like a half a cup of baking soda. I've already mixed it. And I'll pass it around if you want to smell it. It is half a cup of baking soda, a pinch of powdered cinnamon, and 10 drops of Van oil. Van oil, it's an old New Orleans recipe. It is usually to make things that have gone wrong go right again. People use it in Mercury in retrograde. They also use it for protection in all sorts of spells like that. So you would put in 10 drops of Van oil in the baking soda and the powdered cinnamon. And what you do is you actually take like a couple of teaspoons and you put it in the bottom of the shower. And then preferably if you were standing in the shower and it's this way and the head of the shower is this way, put it at that end so it doesn't immediately wash away. Get in and shower as you normally would, but you'll be stepping in this, and it's supposed to take all of the negativity and wash it down the drain. So that's something simple. You just need some Van oil from us or someone else, and baking powder or baking soda and cinnamon powder. So that's something simple for the shower. This is how to actually anoint an amulet. And it's super simple. We're talking about a candle, an incense, an amulet, and a white bag. So the first thing you normally do, and I do this on my altar at home, I have something called a working candle, which just means I'm in the house, I'm working. And it's always white. So you light a white candle. And then we're going to take the incense and light it. And take any sort of piece of jewelry that you want to turn into a protective amulet. This is one I had made of Isis. So it's just pick whatever means something to you. And you can use sage for this too, but it is a way to smoke cleanse it. So run it through the smoke first. Take the Van oil, which I sealed up so it wouldn't spill before the class. See if I can get it open.
What is the type of incense?
It doesn't matter. You're just wanting the smoke. Most of the time I prefer to use like rosemary. A lot of people ask us, what's the difference in the different types of sages? And a lot of them have the same meaning. Different people use them depending on their culture. If they're Latin, they may choose, or South American, they may choose Palo Santo. Native American, maybe white sage. Scottish and English, maybe rosemary or lavender, or you can really choose any of them as long as you're respectful of whatever path you are borrowing it from. So just take some of the Van oil, anoint the jewelry, which is not an amulet yet. And you'll need a white bag or a handkerchief, a square of cloth. And we're going to put it in the bag. Then you take some salt. Salt is often being used as a protective circle. This is rock salt. Any kind of salt works. Himalayan salt, table salt. The one with the little Morton girl on it. Put it in there with your piece of jewelry or charm. Tie it up. And then you're going to slide it in on the underside of your pillowcase so it's not against your face. Sleep with it at night. And then when you wake up, take it out and the charm has become an amulet. And then you'll take it and begin to carry it with you or wear it, and it has become a protective amulet. If it feels weak, like you feel like it's starting to get a little bit weak, just anoint it with more Van oil. You can sleep with it again if you want to. But that's how to make a protective amulet. All these things are coming from a light worker's way of things. So now we're going to let Roy talk about the dark path and how to balance it.
All right. So, what is dark magic? So, There are a few different interpretations of what dark magic actually is. Most agree it's associated with negative intentions, but that doesn't mean it's inherently evil. Any ethical implications using dark magic depends on your own personal belief, your own personal path. While some would say that black magic is used for personal gain and self-gratification, others might view it as a means of balance, just balance in their life. We're going to talk about the concepts of ethics and karma and balance and how they all relate to black magic. When we're talking about ethics in black magic, these are subjective, and it can vary from practitioner to practitioner and how they were taught and what their actual path is. What may be considered unethical by one person might not be viewed the same way as another. Some practitioners believe in the principle of harm none and the rule of threes, and adhere to a very strict code of conduct in their practice. They always want to make sure they're not harming anyone with their magic and not manipulating anyone against their free will. That's some people's interpretation. And it's crucial for each person to establish your own ethical guidelines. What resonates with you, and then you want to follow that. And you always want to act responsible when you're dealing with dark magic. And there's always the question of karma. What is karma? So karma is rooted in various spiritual traditions, mostly Eastern, and it suggests that every action has a consequence. This belief applies to both white and dark magic. And while it's true that negative intentions and actions can bring negative consequences, it's important to know that the same principle applies to positive intentions and outcomes as well. The key lies in your intention. What is it you're trying to do? What is the intention of what you're doing here? And are you having a responsible use of your power? Practitioners who engage in dark magic with the intention of seeking balance and personal growth or transformation can still experience positive outcomes. What we may interpret as dark magic can actually work out to make a very good life for us at times. In Buddhism, specifically in Hinduism, karma refers to the principle of cause and effect more than it does consequences. For every action, there is a reaction. Every time you do something, there is a reaction. And it's not necessarily good or bad. The result of the action can be verbal, mental, or physical, and is not determined by the act, but by your intention behind the act. What was in your heart, your intention when you did that. What causes bad karma? We hear a lot about that sometimes. Bad karma can be defined as the exact opposite of good karma. It's manifested through negative actions, negative intentions, negative emotions. And this is, bad intentions often lead to negative behavior. And this is where we have to be responsible with our black magic. Bad intentions become negative behavior, and negative behavior turns into negative outcomes. If you are consistently doing dark magic with bad intentions, and this is the way you do things, you're always working with dark magic, you're going to surround yourself with negative energy. You're bringing that to you. And you deal with the effects of negative energy every day in your life. As a healer, I see a lot of people who come to me and they think they've got a demon attached to them. They're possessed. They got a possession and all this stuff. And truly, that's not what's going on at all. What is going on is they've got so much negativity around them. They got so much negativity in their lives. They're actually manifesting negativity. They're giving life to this negativity that they feel like there's actually someone else living inside them. So negative energy breeds negative energy. When we're using dark magic alongside of good magic, when we're doing both, we have a balanced approach to our magical practice. By embracing and exploring the shadow aspects of ourselves, that dark side of us that lives in all of us, we gain a deeper understanding of our own psyche and our own human nature. Just as light cannot exist without darkness, the integration of balance in both aspects within oneself can lead to personal growth, self-awareness, and a more holistic understanding of magic. The acceptance of your own darkness contribute to a more balanced and authentic magical practice. When you accept who you are and both sides of yourself, you find that balance in your workings. Now, there are examples where dark use of magic can align with ethics and balance. Shadow work, a form of self-reflection and healing, delves into the depths of the subconscious, and we confront our unresolved problems that we carry around. This process can promote personal growth. It promotes emotional healing, increased self-awareness. Similarly, banishing negative energies or protecting yourself from harm using dark magic can be seen as ethically sound, and when done responsibly and without causing harm to others, sometimes. And as it relates to dark magic, we all have a right to protect ourselves. As human beings, we all have a right to protect ourselves and our family and our loved ones. I have absolutely no problem using dark magic, cursing someone who has harmed my children or my children. I've got no problem banishing or punishing someone who sets out to harm me or my kids or my friends or my business. And in this scenario, my intention is protection. It could also be revenge. There is revenge in this as well. We all have been in situations where we thought about revenge. All of us. We've all thought about this. Actually, I heard a Buddhist monk say one time, when we talk about healing from a trauma or a bad situation, if you still have thoughts of revenge, you have not finished healing yet. That's your key right there. So I prefer to act on a situation, even if it's with dark magic, rather than walking around with those feelings every day. If it is so bad that for me to heal, I got to do some revenge, I'm going to do it just to clear myself. I don't want to walk around with this all day. So the practice of dark magic in itself is not inherently evil. It does have a place in all our magical practices. Ethical considerations, karma, the pursuit of balance, they all play a role in determining our own ethical nature and the nature of any magical practice, and that includes dark magic. And by approaching dark magic with respect and responsibility and a commitment to personal growth, practitioners have the opportunity to explore their shadow side as well and to find balance and enhance their own understanding of their own human experience. Every practitioner needs to establish their own ethical guidelines. You got to find what works for you, what your ethics are, and ensure that your practice aligns with your own values. If you go into this, even if it's somebody did something to you and it's a revenge type of thing, and you're going into this with a sick stomach and it doesn't feel right and it doesn't resonate with you, then don't do it. You're going to regret it. Find what works with you, what resonates with you. If you're okay doing some of this stuff, then do it. The balance side of that is you don't want to do it every day. You don't want your magical practice to be screwing with everyone on Facebook that made you mad. Because I wouldn't be here anymore. Because that's just going to breed all this negative energy around you. And when we live in negativity, it's just going to get worse. And we're going to take it upon ourselves. And we're going to start bringing all this negativity to us. So it's just about finding the balance of where it feels appropriate, where it fits in with your own ethics. And again, if it doesn't feel right to you in the beginning, then I would advise you not to do it, because you're gonna regret doing that. You're not gonna sleep well over that one. So I'm gonna share a dark magic spell with you, and this spell is about turning someone's happiness into sadness. We're going to actually take some stuff here and kind of curse someone's life a little bit. So, do what? I'm about to write a name here. So the first thing we want to do is write a petition. We're going to take our petition paper. We're going to write the person's name on there 7 times, okay? Now, if I'm doing dark magic, baneful magic, whatever word you want to use, I use a triangle-shaped petition paper, not square, because I like that pointy end. So it's just adding a little more energy to it. So you're just going to write their name on here 7 times. I'm not going to write anyone's real name on here. And if you have a picture of the person, you can include it with this petition. That always helps. All right, get our ingredients ready here. All right, so the first thing we want to do is take our petition paper, and this is some toilet water. And we want to dab this petition paper on each corner and in the middle. And typically you would let this dry, but we don't have time right now. Come on. All right.
So how dirty is that toilet water? The dirtier the better. Is it fresh toilet?
It could be anyone in this room. All right, so we're going to fold this up, make it a little bit smaller here. All right. Then we're going to take a piece of paper and make a little packet out of it. So on the packet, we're just going to kind of like fold it mostly in half, kind of like that. And then fold it in from each end. So that we're making actually a little packet here that'll hold our herbs. And for today, I have chosen 3 herbs to use, or 3 ingredients. I'm going to use black pepper. Black pepper is used a lot to lay tricks, to do jinxes. It's used to drive someone away a lot. It's used a lot in hot foot spells. So we're going to do a little bit of black pepper here. And I'm going to make a mess. And then we're going to do some vandal root. And if you've never used vandal root, this shit stinks. Y'all going to smell it here in just a minute since I opened the packet.
What were you using again?
Vandal root.
Thank you. How do you spell that?
Vandal.
Same thing as valerian.
It's valerian. It's what the Valium is made out of, actually.
What is vandal root?
So vandal root is used in crossing and hexing. It can be used as a substitute for graveyard dirt if you're doing spells, need graveyard dirt and don't have access to it. And then I'm going to actually use gopher dust. And gopher dust is used again for jinxing an enemy. That's what you use it for.
What's the difference between gopher and hot foot?
Hoover is to make someone actually sick or worse.
Or worse. Hotfoot's to drive someone away. That's just to make someone leave and get them out of your life. And that can be done without negative intention. You know, harming someone. All right. Just go.
You said vandal root can be used as a substitute for graveyard dirt?
Yes, it can.
Graveyard dirt can be used as a substitute for graveyard dirt?
No. All right. So we got our petition in here. We got our picture in here if we have a picture to put with it. And then we want to tie it up, seal it up real good. And y'all, this ain't turning out real neat. But we want to seal it up.
Does the color of the twine matter?
No. I mean, I prefer to use black on something like this. I could not find my black thread this morning. So this is dark purple. And when I grabbed it, I thought, if nobody asked me, nobody will know. All right.
It works. Dark purple is a royal color, and they can be royal
That's right.
green, right?
They're royally screwed. That's right. So take your packet. You want to put, your intentions into this. What is it you want? Who you're working on? What is it you want to happen? Say it into it. Pray into it. Scream into it. If it depends on the situation as to what I do. If someone has truly pissed me off, I'm going to scream at this, just like they were in my face. I'm going to put that energy in there. So for the rest of this, what you would typically do, take your cauldron and just set this whole packet on fire. I'm not going to do that today because this room is already hot and a lot of people, and y'all don't want to smell valerian vandalroot burning right now. Yes, you definitely want to burn this outside. But you would burn this in your little cauldron till it's all gone, and you want to take the ashes and, take the ashes like to the worst place in town you can find and throw them out. What you're trying to do with this spell is to ruin someone's life. So just think about what relates to them. I mean, if you know this person is scared to death of a circus, go throw these ashes out in the middle of a circus or something. Something would damage that person. So, okay. Anybody got any questions? Huh? Yeah, just relight it. Because depending on which herbs you decide to use, some burn better than others. Anytime you're doing dark magic with this kind of intention, do some, a little protection work on yourself. Protect yourself. When you're doing your petition, if you're actually writing out a petition of what you want this to do, you can include in that petition, exclude me and my family, protect me and my family. You can say, I want this to happen. You can say, I don't want this to happen. You can be that specific with this. And then anytime I do some type of work like this, which honestly is not that often, but I do kind of work like this, that I will go do a cleansing bath on myself once I'm completely finished with it and get that energy off of me. So,
talk about what the person who did the drive-by, who was going out the door. Revenge and justice. When something is justifiable, what is justifiable? Does anyone know? Say it again. Right. It's something that's actually justified. Something that is just is where the word comes from.
They can toss it, they can catch it.
Yeah, and the punishment is supposed to fit the crime.
Right. And also revenge is just one act. It will not change what happened. It just makes you feel better. When we throw justice in there, we're also wanting it to make some type of amend, to satisfy others besides just me, kind of thing. Yeah,
So you're playing around the question that I have. So what if it's something like a reflection, like whatever they did to me, I want them to experience the same thing. So is that black, dark, light, or dark, light or dark? There we go.
And again,
white for you, dark for them.
It goes back to what it is and how it affects your emotions. Can you live with this? If you can't live with this, if it was that bad to you, then maybe it is a little dark. But you're going to do what you have to do to your satisfy. And that's just there's some you would want to do that rather than a spell like this. You would want some reversing work in there, using some reversing herbs.
But if someone did real harm or death to murder to a member of your family, pull out the goofer dust. That's justifiable. If someone broke up with you, don't pull out the goofer dust. That's not justifiable.
You can't kill and maim everyone that pisses you off.
What if you get in a situation where it's like a ping pong, you're just like, hey, I'm just sending this back to you, and then they send it back to you, and it just keeps going back and forth.
End them. There comes a point where you got to end this.
Because sometimes I personally hold back because I'm like, like I thought I got rid of them, and then they'll
Right.
send something back, and I'm like,
I don't know. I won't say it out loud, but
but
I
I'm
use
just being honest.
no. I
being
use
upfront.
you as an example sometimes for something you did.
I can definitely.
You did no something you when one time someone threw a voodoo doll in your yard and what you did to it.
Yeah.
I tell yes. that is a good piece of magic right there, and I tell that story. I don't say well now you know her name. I never told the name before.
Just go ahead, call me out on it.
Yeah, but Tara, front porch conjure. But yeah, but that's like that was I tell that a lot.
It was
That's
brilliant.
good.
It was brilliant.
Someone throws a voodoo doll in your yard and you just go out and piss on it. It's like you have no power here. Be gone.
But
on you.
but to really answer your question, I never start with the big effect. Start small. Don't do more than you have to. And if you end up in this ping pong thing, then you're gonna have to start growing your magic. You're gonna have to get more powerful than they're doing and end it.
That come to me that are in the community and they're dealing with this as well, and that's why
You just need bigger ping pong balls.
You just keep getting stronger.
Yeah.
Until it is over. Until it's
What happens
done.
if you're afraid about how dark you might become after? Like, I'm afraid of darkness inside me, so I always try to practice light.
Go to confession.
So, and that's where you would truly want to start doing some shadow work. And so you learn where that darkness comes from and how strong it is, and start finding your own internal balance before you do something like this. Yeah.
What about doing dark work for its karma or anything coming back? Doing a lot of dark work for someone else. You're no part of the equation, but that doing that work.
So I do work for other people, and my personal opinion is this is their karma, not mine.
Is it still important to cleanse?
Yeah. I don't want all that on me. So I will do my cleansing afterwards. But as far as karma goes, to me, it's theirs.
There's no certain like, okay, I need to stop, but
Not for me. But again, it's what resonates with you. If it feels okay with you, then yes.
Yeah,
Anyone can refuse to do something.
We have lines we draw and say to people, we won't do that.
I've done work for people, like breakup work, where they're trying to break up another couple, stuff like that. That's on them, not me. Whatever. But a real world example here, I had someone want me to do magic to cause another woman to abort. I draw the line there. I will not do that. No. So, my own ethics come in at that point and say, I'm not doing this. I want no part of it.
That goes back to shadow work, where you say to them, you need to go find out why you're such an evil bitch. You want that.
All right. Yeah.
So it's kind of an extra question that I was thinking about asking kind of into this. So like, in the terms of like doing dark magic that feels kind of risky, I feel like based on what you do, you can have different outcomes. Like for example, if you're like really mad at someone that you do want in your life, you shouldn't do certain things like towards that energy that you feel is gonna like cause pain or like suffering or anything. Because like I feel like that can cause a bigger spiritual like blockage that you need to, or like
Yeah.
If this is someone you still want in your life, you should not be. You don't be doing baneful work against them.
Because we do have several people say, some guy left him for some other girl. I'm gonna wreck his life. I'm gonna do all this stuff, but I still love him. And when they're wanting him back, it's like
you can't have both.
You can't. You have him back all damaged and broken and icky.
Up to what?
Boomerang effect, like generally speaking, because like whenever like people do exorcisms, usually they are trying to to like do something good for themselves. I don't know. What do you guys have anything about like kind of like discernment in that?
I don't think I really understand what you're asking.
It goes back to you.
Goes around, comes around.
Well, and that goes back to the first part of my talk is, what is karma? What does it mean to you? What does the ethics mean to you? And you have to decide that for yourself and your path and so forth. For me, I don't believe karma is a consequence type thing. For every action, there is a reaction. It might be good, it might be bad. I don't believe in a universe that's out here punishing me. So, that's how I approach it in my own practice. It goes along with my belief or disbelief, I guess, that there is this consequence, punishment consequence.
Right. And when I do it, I'm working and asking, it's more like petitioning God or a saint or something. Say, hey, this person over here wants this done. Hey, listen to me. I'm lighting these candles. I'm doing this for them. This is what they want.
I
And if
didn't
they
do
don't
it.
get it, then they said no. God said no. If they do get it, did it? God said yes. It had nothing to do with me. I was just a messenger.
And you had a question?
I was just wondering, did you say there was a substitute for green salt or oil?
Not really. It's a really very unique formula. Always has lemongrass in it, for sure. If you're in a pinch and you're at home and you've got to have Bam Bam, but you have lemongrass essential oil, it'll have a little bit of a kick in that direction.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you.